Greetings, my friends. Welcome to the Grit and Equity Talks podcast with yours truly, Dr. India White. I am thrilled to be here with you. Happy Black History Month to each of you watching as we're all partaking in that together. I want to first start the show with a couple of announcements, if that's okay with you. First things first, the Grit and Equity Talks podcast will be featured on the X Factor EDU network, and which is hosted by Dr. Matthew Joseph. You can also find it on Spotify and all of my main social media outlets. My social media outlets, if you're wanting to follow me, Facebook is Miss India White, LinkedIn is The India White, Twitter is Indy Speak and Teach, Instagram is Indy238, YouTube is India White 123, TikTok is Dr. India White, and Blue Sky, I believe, is Dr. India White. So you can find me there. I also want to encourage you to check out my books whenever you get a chance. Check out the website in general, www.india-white.com. There are books there. There are blogs. There are speaking and coaching events. I've done my best to share all the love with you on that website. So please check it out, www.india-white.com. I'm excited about some upcoming events. I've already had the NCSM conference. Thank you so much. I have STEM conferences coming up in March. I think I have 2 of them. So thank you to all of those awesome rock stars for that opportunity. And then, of course, I'm looking forward to keynoting the VCTM conference in Vermont at the end of the month in March. So super excited about that. Thank you to all of those rock stars there for the opportunity. Cannot wait to see you guys there. I also wanted to remind you guys of the G.R.I.T Academy. I am honored to service the students that I've been servicing. I think that students are getting ready to test and things like that. So I would be honored to help you prepare your students as they are getting ready to take the ACT, SAT, district exams and whatnot. So we can all just kind of do this together. I want to also remind you of the Grassroots Workshops website. You can support Robert Kaplinski and his team by looking at that workshop, the Grit Mini Workshop that is on that website. Thank you, Robert and team, for that opportunity. That's a different audience, different vibe, but it's all good. So you could go there and check that out. I also wanted to remind you guys to check out the Grit calendars. You can find one on my website if you're trying to be gritty and to organize your life through grit. Now, this particular podcast is if you're trying to close the achievement gap, but you're having classroom management issues or your students just aren't motivated to do work, then you can reach me and join me on the Grit and Equity Talks podcast, and we'll talk about some things. Now, speaking of trying to bridge the gap, I know right now we're about to bleed into the month of March, and with that said, we have got to become prepared and do our part in our particular roles. With that said, I do want to talk today to parents about how you can build grit in your child. So this episode will be about building grit with our parents. Why am I asking parents to get on board? It is very easy as a parent to assume that the teacher will do all of the work for you and your student. It is easy to assume that you don't have to keep up with deadlines and it's all just going to work out. But what happens is if we don't get a hold of things, kids can miss deadlines, whether it's enrolling to college, military, whatnot. And I find it very interesting in all the years I've been doing this, about 15 years, that a student could be absolutely driven, amazing, but the parent still can drop the ball by not having certain things completed for the child. So with that said, parents, this episode is for you. We're going to talk about how you can build your grit, your great resilience in time, and how you can show up and help your students to win as they are wrapping up the school year. So here are my tips, India's tips to parents as to how you can build grit. First things first, get organized. Question. If you're a parent of seniors, and I will be talking specifically to seniors and parents that are students that are transitioning, or even college students. So, question: where is your child going to school? What is their major? What does your child want to become? If your child's not going to school, what is their trade? What school do they have to go to get into that trade? What finances do you have lined up for your child? So these are questions that you have to intentionally answer so that you can be the best support and help for your child. You have been chosen to help that child for whatever reason. You are in their life, accept that part. So now that you're in their lives, there is a part that we cannot assume that the teacher is going to do everything. For instance, if you are a senior, a parent of a senior, that teacher is not going to help your child with the FAFSA. That's your thing. The teacher is not always going to make sure that the deadline has been met for that child to fill out that scholarship or get that whatever they need for college, get their tuition covered, to find out what the textbooks are. They need a parent on board. I'm thankful for the team that I had in Sarasota County that helped me when I didn't have parents, but I had guardians. Well, not really guardians. I had staff members at the YMCA shelter who helped me meet my deadlines and things like that. So I want to encourage parents. What are you doing helping your child, especially if they're a senior, with the SAT, the ACT, the FAFSA, the college, whatever it is, your application process. Has your child even applied to college yet? If not, getting late. They might not even be able to attend in fall if you did not get them accepted yet. You might have to wait till spring to get them in because the deadlines. So with that said, and if your child is, maybe primary grades or even middle school grades, what are you doing now to help your child prepare? I said, get organized. Find out from your child when their district exams are. Find out when their tests are in their class. How are the grades? How are the progress reports? What's going on? So that that child can be set up for success. Number 2, find out your child's purpose. So again, what does your child want to become? What is your child involved in right now that's going to help them? Is there a distraction, or, what do you need to do to make sure your child is positioned properly so that they can be successful? It's imperative that you as a parent advocate for your child, have a teacher meeting, schedule a parent-teacher meeting. You might have to email that teacher, email the administrator. Do not be afraid. And if you're having problem on your school campuses, then reach out to school board members, reach out to stakeholders in the community to try to get some advocacy and some support for your child. 3, again, reach out to the appropriate parties. Do you need help with FAFSA? Reach out then to the guidance counselor on that campus. Reach out to administrators. Reach out to, a child's, coach or whatever you need to help you in the appropriate part. So is your child trying to play sports for college? Then reach out. Does your child need tutoring or something? Reach out. But do not just sit on it and think that you have to kind of go at this alone. Allow others to help you. Okay. Number 4, this is huge. Keep up with deadlines. I am a very busy parent, just like many of you. And sometimes it's just really tough to keep up with all of the deadlines, the field trips, the sports, the practices, the concerts. It's just, sometimes it just keeps going, and that ball just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning. It's just so much. But it's imperative that you do your best to stay organized. Get a grid calendar or something, right? Get like a grid calendar, stay organized. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm holding up the grid calendar. Get a grid calendar like this one. Mark it Monday through Friday. It's annoying, but you've got to do it. Some people use their phones. Use something, though, to make sure that you can keep yourself, situated when it comes down to being organized and keeping up with the deadlines for your child. You don't want your child to miss out on opportunities because you could not get it together. So I want to encourage you with that. And then number 5, delegate. Now, in this season, as students are testing and applying to college and things like that, you will have to delegate. You might have to have a girlfriend come over and help, church member, someone in the community, someone that can help you with that child to make sure that you can help them meet every deadline and meet all their needs. so that they can be set up for success. Sometimes you will have to delegate and turn down little fun, distracting things on the side so that you can help your child. Next, always remain supportive. This is imperative. Sometimes our children come off as so confident and they've got this ego, they've got this drive. And sometimes, especially when they're teenagers, it's like they just have everything together. And it's really deceiving because deep down inside, they still are a little child. And so it's a very interesting situation where you have to learn how to communicate with your child, keep that respect, but then still see them as a child and not assume because they're starting to develop into an adult that they don't need you or, whatever. So I want to encourage you to remember to remain supportive in how you speak to them, how you support them. You do not have to be controlling, but you do have to make sure that you're setting them up for success. Why else have children, right? Why else commit to a child if you can't help them when they need you the most? Children need you the most during those transitions. And if you're a parent and you have a child that's a senior and you're not helping your child, what is the problem, right? So we've got to definitely get on board with helping our children and building grit. So those are my tips for building grit with your children, remaining focused, remaining supportive, be on them like white on rice, like remind them of deadlines, remind them of applications, provide incentives to get them motivated to do certain things to help them to stay successful and continue to communicate with, their leaders. Now, I want to take a moment here and I want to pull up for you just a couple things I found on how you can help a child with grit, things like that. So how to raise a child. So I thought this was pretty interesting from Scholastic. So, okay, so it's talking about a child bouncing back from failure. Turns out to be one of the best lessons a child can learn. According to Dr. Duckworth, she's the queen of grit, says that grit matters more to a child's ability to reach his full potential than intelligence, skill, or even grades. Again, a child's grit matters more to a child's ability to reach his or her potential than intelligence, skill, or even their grades. Grit is something you definitely have to cultivate and build in students. And as a parent, it is imperative that you do your best to continue to motivate your child, especially when their energy levels are low, their motivation levels are low. So here, how do you do it? So first things first, it says put a challenge in front of them. Be careful with this, especially if they already are on overload and they have so much going on. You might not need to necessarily come up with a brand new challenge, but you could kind of work with some challenges that are already there and kind of spice it up a little bit. So it says, true achievement happens when people bust through boundaries and barriers. If your child never has a chance to triumph over something difficult, he or she may never develop confidence in their ability to confront a challenge. So taking risks, that's huge, is an important way kids can learn. So teach it. Give your child an opportunity to pursue at least one difficult thing. Says Duckworth, it has to be something that requires discipline to practice. Okay. So do that. And then it says encouraging those kids to try new things gives them a chance to prove that they could do anything. Okay. Another thing, promote perseverance. Perseverance is a huge word. So it says many of us hold on to the idea that skills come naturally and that if we're good or not good at something, it's just because we were born that way. But the problem with that belief, it leads us to many kids giving up on things. Plus, it's simply not true. Even naturally gifted people have to work hard, right? So teach it. Don't quit on a bad day, says Duckworth, right? Giving up the second things gets frustrating means you might, or giving up the second things get frustrating means you might miss out on something really great, right? If you give up. Okay, parents. Also, be a nudge. No one wants to be the mom. It says, and it's scrolling because I scroll too much. My bad. Okay, so it says, no one wants to be that mom, the one that pushes her child every step of the way. But it's okay to let your children know that you expect them to do their best and to create a structure that will help them do it. Jill, I am so sorry. G.R.I.T's 10-year-old daughter came home from school excited about a number of laps she ran in the gym. And it says, that's when I realized she ran only about as half as many. It turns out she ran with a friend to keep her company, which is fine. But we ended up talking about how someone else's best isn't always your best. So, of course, teaching it. Simply sharing what expectations are is the first step. Okay. So that's the first step. And then, of course, you're going to follow up on those expectations. Welcome boredom and frustration. This is huge, right? Because children are not robots. They're children, and they're going to have their own mind, their own personality. So you need to make room for that, right? So it says, so success rarely occurs on the first try. So usually it's a pretty long road, has sorts of bumps and potholes and things like that. Pretty neat. So you're going to welcome boredom and frustration, let the child fall, and let them model resilience. There's nothing wrong with letting them make mistakes. Mistakes should not be a key for a beating or a whooping or whatever. It should be a lesson, a learned lesson, a moment for growth, a moment for reflection. So with that said, these are some advices that they have for us parents, and how you can get on board whenever a child is facing defeat and, they just need your assistance. So I don't know what you guys thought about that, but, I do agree with that. I think that, students will never tell us, but they long for our praise. And especially when they're trying to bounce back and be gritty and have that resilience, they're really longing for an adult in the room to cheer them on and to believe in them, because that really does kind of stir up that sense of self-efficacy, right? And it helps them to persist. So there's that. Now, I also wanted to pull up just a little Queen of Grit. She talks, I'm going to say a little bit. I don't want to say too much on her because I want to respect her. I don't want copyright coming after me. But she talks about how parents can teach grit. So she says a couple of things here.
In particular, when I think of kids, I think of how parents can help their kids develop character strengths like grit. One very important thing that parents are doing, in fact, they don't even need to be told to do this, they're already doing this, is to model for their kids. Now, whether you're thinking that you're modeling or not, you are, because your kids are watching you and how you treat other people and how you, for example, in the case of grit, respond to failure, respond to setbacks. Your kids are watching and they're taking cues about what the right thing to do is in those cases. So, for example, with my own kids who are 17 and 15, they were younger when I was writing the book Grit, and they saw mommy cry a lot, and they saw mommy complain a lot. They almost saw mommy throw her laptop into the Atlantic Ocean, but that didn't quite happen. The thing is that I don't think you're modeling invulnerability. I don't think you're modeling perfection. I think what you're modeling is falling down and getting back up again. And
so that was pretty cool. I like that personable moment with Dr. Duckworth there. Thanks to her for sharing that. But like she said, we're modeling it, parents. So we have to get a clue and figure out what legacy we want to leave behind and what traits of hard work and grit and resilience we want to leave for our children. It's imperative. Okay, so now I also want to look at 9 essential secrets to boosting your child's this, which is 9 secrets for boosting confidence, which of course is dealing with grit, that self-efficacy. So it says here, confidence is a crucial trait. It empowers individuals to navigate the complexities of life with resilience and grace. I like it. So as a parent, helping your child develop confidence is a rewarding journey that involves fostering self-discovery, self-love, and embracing their unique qualities. So if your child is facing challenges or displaying signs of low confidence, know that you're not alone. Building confidence is a gradual process, and by incorporating these 9 secrets, you can guide your child towards becoming the best version of themselves. So look, Secret one. Embrace your child's uniqueness. Confidence versus arrogance defined. Okay, so according to the National Association for the Education of Young Children, children who embrace uniqueness are 30% more likely to exhibit high levels of confidence. Very nice. Compared to those who face constant comparisons. Okay, so that's imperative. And then look, secret number 2, set realistic goals, boost confidence. So confidence booster tips. So in the study published by in the Journal of Positive Psychology, they found that children who regularly receive their set goal or achieve their set goal, no matter how small, experience a 40% increase in self-esteem, contributing to overall confidence. This is why certain entrepreneurs will say, make up your bed every day, because, it increases self-esteem. So action, initiate a goal-setting routine, and then help your child choose a realistic goal for the week. Break it down into smaller tasks and celebrate that progress. Okay? All right. So this is good. Then she's got some affirmations here. I am unique, capable, and worthy of success. I like that. I am resilient and capable of overcoming any obstacle in your path. I think that should be in my path. I think they messed up. Okay, and then it says, I am uniqueness. What? I am uniqueness is something to be proud of. It makes you special. Maybe they meant to say, my uniqueness is something to be proud of. It makes me special. That's weird. I don't know who came up with this, but I think they have to revisit it. Anyway, let's keep going. Secret 4. Cultivate healthy relationships, confidence, and positive connections. A report by Child Welfare Information Gateway highlights that children with positive peer relationships are 35% more likely to develop a strong sense of confidence in social interactions. Excellent. Okay. Next, embrace failures as a learned opportunity, confidence trick revealed. In the study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, I hope y'all are getting all these different journals. It reports that children who engage in reflective practices, I guess, after failure show a 50% faster rate of resilience development, positively impacting confidence. I don't want to keep going on this, but I will say this. I found that very interesting because studies do show that, especially like if you're teaching a child, the best thing to do, is not just to give a quiz and then say, here's the quiz. All right, next lesson. No, you have to help them to reflect on the parts that went wrong. Even if they're like cringing inside, they have to know, because then that's what's going to help them learn. Those misconceptions and those mistakes, that's what really helps that connection to stick with the education, if that makes sense. So I thought that was very interesting. There's a couple more. I might go back to that. I don't know. But you can find that online as well. They did have some typos in that one, but hey, I give them respect. They tried. All right. So now I want to look at another cool little article for us. And this is a blog, Reimagine Peaceful Parenting. How to Raise Happy and Successful Kids with Grit. So here's a story. So it says, my 9-year-old daughter and I sat on the couch with her ukulele and she cried and raged. I can't do it. She threatened to rip up her music sheet. She wanted to quit, but I repeated the family rule. You can't quit in a low point. Oh, I like that family rule, though. That's a nice family rule. You can't quit in a low point. In that moment, I wanted to give up as well. Who cares if she could play the ukulele, right? But I knew something bigger was at stake. Her fear of failure and doubt in herself was making it hard to even start. And so it says, I wasn't willing to give up on her when she wanted to give up on herself. That's it, parents. This is the line of the day. We have to feel this way about our children. I wasn't willing to give up on her when she was willing, or when she wanted to give up on herself. How many parents are saying this? We have to start speaking like this and being like this. It says, I wanted her to be resilient in the face of life's challenges and in her own setbacks. I want her to be gritty. Okay. So this is pretty powerful. Let's see if she has any tips. So what else can we do to raise gritty kids? So 1, everyone in the family has to do a hard thing. Number 2, the hard thing is that person's choice. 3, your hard thing should be hard and interesting. 4, you can change your hard thing, but can't quit on a bad day. Okay. And then having faith in your child and having tons of support with high expectations, giving the child the support they need to reach the goal, providing emotional support. I believe in you. I know you can do it if you keep trying. This is really hard. It's frustrating not to get it that way. I know how you feel. Or, wow, you're working so hard at this. Yes, recognize effort. That's tough at times, just in general, to recognize and to have the right words to say. But this is great. The next one, don't step in and take over. This tells your child you can't do it. Promote a growth mindset. Say, you can't do it yet, keep trying. And then support unconditionally. We do need more unconditional love for our babies, right? So I thought that was a very interesting article, and I'm so happy they shared that information with us. Parents, you've got what it takes to build grit in your child. I know sometimes too, when you look back and you look at your own life, sometimes you might think, like, I wonder where I would be if my parents were a little bit more supportive, or, well, some of us, I know I've thought that sometimes as well. I wonder where life would have taken us if everyone had supportive parent and supportive tribe, right? Sometimes it takes a tribe because parents are just, dealing with a lot, trying to figure it out. So with that said, parents, please don't give up on your children. I also have the Grit Workbook for parents on my website. I also have a grit assessment for parents on my website, www.india-white.com. Feel free to go there. Those you can check out the assessment for free. You could take it and find out where you are, where you stand with their grit. And I even have Grit Workbook for parents, Facebook group where parents can connect with other parents. So let me help you. If you're wanting more one-on-one support, more tutoring or counseling or whatever, just reach out to me, okay? My stuff is scrolling down here on the ticker below. So with that said, guys, this has been a fabulous show. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me today on the Grit and Equity Talks podcast with Dr. India White. Again, this particular podcast, it will be featured on the X Factor EDU network hosted by Dr. Matthew Joseph, and you could find it on Spotify. You can also find it on all of my main social media outlets, which Facebook is Miss India White, LinkedIn is The India White, Twitter is Indie Speak and Teach, Instagram is Indie238, YouTube is India White 123, and TikTok's Dr. India White, and Blue Sky is, I think, Dr. India White. So yeah, check out the website. I just quoted it for you, especially if you're looking at a grit workbook or looking for a grit assessment, or if you wanted me to come speak at your school, your organization, or whatnot. I'd be honored to join you. And looking forward to seeing some of you guys at the STEM conferences later on, coming up in March, and at the Vermont Council of Teachers of Mathematics annual conference. I cannot wait to see amazing people there. Also, please check out the Grit Mini workshop on the Grassroots Workshops website. Also, Grit Academy is still open. We are still taking students, so feel free to send them my way. We will get them squared away as they prepare for boot camp, SAT, ACT, district exams, graduation, and whatnot. And again, this particular show was if you're trying to close the achievement gap, but you're having either classroom management issues or your students aren't motivated to do work, then you would join me on this show and we would kind of hash out some things together. So, with that said, guys, I'm very grateful that you were able to join me again today on the Grit and Equity Talks podcast with Dr. India White. Please spread the word. Share this with a parent near you. Share it with someone in your school district. Until next time, stay gritty. See ya.